Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated with all our latest content. Join us and never miss out on the excitement. The people of Kansas City celebrate the overthrow of Fedra, taking to the streets, killing and torturing the former soldiers, and seeking out collaborators of Fedra for prosecution. Two such collaborators, Henry Burrell and his brother Sam, evade capture by the revolutionaries. The leader, Kathleen Coughlin, and her lieutenant Perry interrogate several captive collaborators regarding the whereabouts of Henry, claiming she will give them a fair trial if they tell her. One of the collaborators eventually reveals he is meeting with Edelstein, whom Kathleen had not even realized was a collaborator. She orders her men to seek out Henry, despite Perry's objections that there are more important matters, and then orders Perry to kill the informants anyway. Meanwhile, Henry and Sam meet Edelstein and hide out in the attic of an abandoned building, though they recognize the situation will have to be temporary due to a lack of food and ammunition. To help Sam pass the time, Henry gives him some art supplies to decorate the room. 10 days pass, and both Henry and Sam have nearly run out of food. Henry eventually realizes Edelstein has been captured and most likely killed, and decides they will have to make their own way. As they are leaving the building, however, they witness a truck crash into a nearby laundromat. Henry watches as the driver, Joel, summarily takes out his attackers with ease. Intrigued, he tells Sam he has a new plan. Keeping an eye on the man and his companion, Ellie, Henry and Sam follow them into an abandoned high-rise, making sure to avoid making noise on the trail of glass he had left. They proceed to wake the two up at gunpoint, with Henry telling a bewildered Joel they only wish to help. After brief confusion over Joel's instinctively threatening tone of voice, which Ellie assures them is just how he talks, they lower their weapons. The group shares some food that Joel and Ellie got from Bill's house, taking the time to introduce themselves before Henry explains he can help Joel find a way out of the city. In the morning, Henry fills Joel in on what happened in Kansas City. 10 days ago, after years of mistreating the residents of the QZ, the people rose up and overthrew Fedra. Joel quickly figures out that Henry is neither Fedra nor a revolutionary. Henry admits he was a collaborator, someone who exchanged information with Fedra for better living conditions. Joel refuses to work with a rat, but Henry points out he knows the city, and thus is Joel's safest bet to get out, noting he and Sam in turn need Joel's weapons expertise to clear out any dangers in their path. Henry admits he is not violent, having never killed anyone before, and that the guns they aimed at Joel and Ellie were in fact unloaded. Noticing Ellie and Sam bonding over her joke book, Joel agrees to work with them. Sam and Henry reveal the highways are completely controlled by Kathleen, but they can evade the revolutionaries by taking maintenance tunnels that run underneath the city, emerging in a residential area and using a pedestrian bridge to get to safety. He admits there is potential danger in the tunnels. Fedra forces drove the infected underground 15 years ago, and while a soldier told Henry they eventually cleared out the tunnels, there is a slight risk of some still being underground. At the very least, they will not run into Kathleen's people, because they all think the tunnels are too dangerous. Joel and Ellie are doubtful, but when Henry hears they survived a clicker encounter, he insists they are the right people for the task. Besides, they do not have any other options. The group makes it into the maintenance tunnels, where they find no sign of any infected. However, they come across an unusual sight: the nursery room of an old survivor's bunker, filled with books and toys. They see no sign of its residents, though Joel finds a child's drawing of two protectors named Danny and Ish, leading them to assume they were driven out by infected years ago. Ellie and Sam find an issue of the Savage Starlight comics, of which both of them are fans, and Sam teaches Ellie how to say the catchphrase, "Endure and survive," in American Sign Language. Seeing the two kids having fun, Henry suggests they wait out in the nursery, as it will be safer to emerge from the tunnels when it is dark. While they watch Ellie and Sam play, Joel apologizes for being rude to Henry earlier, admitting he understands Henry's desire to protect Sam by any means necessary, noting he finds it cruel of Kathleen to send an entire army after them for that. Henry reveals he was not entirely truthful. He had previously come under the wing of Kathleen's brother Michael, who established the resistance movement and was, by all accounts, a great and compassionate leader. However, when Sam had leukemia, the only drug that could treat it was in the hands of Fedra, and Henry had to give Fedra something big to obtain it: Michael. He admits that even though it saved his brother, the guilt of his decision continues to haunt him. He then notes he can see in Joel that he was once a father and therefore understands Henry's reasoning. Joel does not respond, declaring it is time for them to continue. Kathleen stands in her and Michael's childhood room. Perry arrives with no updates on the location of Henry or the man who killed Brian and asks Kathleen how she is doing. Kathleen reflects on how Michael raised her not to be afraid and reveals that the day before his death, he asked her to forgive Henry for betraying him. However, she feels she does not have it in her to forgive and expresses doubt that she should even be leading the revolutionaries. Perry reminds her she led them when overthrowing Fedra, not Michael, and that he and the others have her back. Joel, Ellie, Henry, and Sam emerge from the tunnels that night as planned, with Henry boasting that he was correct about the tunnels being clear. As they venture through a seemingly empty residential area, Ellie suggests the two brothers join them in going to Wyoming. Their conversation is interrupted by gunfire from a sniper, who is shooting at them from a nearby house. Joel takes off alone to deal with the sniper himself, managing to get into the house only to find the sniper is an old man. He pleads for the man at gunpoint to put down his rifle and let them pass, but the man aims at him anyway and gets shot. To Joel's horror, the man, Anthony, was one of Kathleen's soldiers and had informed them via walkie-talkie of the group's whereabouts. A convoy of armored vehicles arrives, forcing Ellie, Sam, and Henry to make a run for it. Joel uses the sniper rifle to kill the driver of the lead truck, sending it careening into a nearby house, which erupts in flames. As the group hides, Kathleen emerges with her men, telling Henry to surrender. Henry offers to do so in exchange for letting Sam and Ellie escape, but Kathleen refuses, as Ellie was involved in Brian's death and Sam is his brother, callously telling him that children die all the time. After telling Ellie and Sam to make a run for it anyway, Henry emerges from hiding and prepares to die at Kathleen's hands. Before she can do so, however, they are all interrupted by a loud rumbling. Turning to look at the burning house, they see the truck fall into a sinkhole that has formed beneath. From the hole emerges an entire horde of infected, the very ones Fedra had been containing. The revolutionaries are quickly overwhelmed by the sudden onslaught of infected. Henry, Sam, and Ellie take cover, with Joel providing supporting fire and taking out any infected that try to attack them. They are quickly separated in the chaos, but Ellie spots a car to hide in, and Joel sees her plan. As more infected emerge from the hole, a loud roar bellows the air as a heavily armored infected emerges and begins taking out the revolutionaries. Perry, seeing it as a threat, focuses fire on it and orders Kathleen to run and not look back. She complies as Perry fights it, but it easily overwhelms him and rips his head off. In the car, Ellie finds herself safe before a child clicker climbs in. Joel tries to shoot it, but the clicker's young age allows it to nimbly dodge the attacks as it darts for Ellie. Fortunately, she manages to escape and shut the door on the clicker, who struggles to break the glass due to the host's lack of strength. She soon spots Henry and Sam underneath a car and being attacked by two more clickers. She manages to kill one and drags the other out, who Joel kills. Joel leaves his spot to catch up with them while the others flee, but are stopped by Kathleen, who still has her gun aimed at Henry. However, she hesitates, and Ellie notices the clicker from before, who pounces on Kathleen and mauls her to death. The three are shocked before Joel snaps them back to their senses to flee, while the horde clears up the remaining revolutionaries and chases the survivors back to the city, still emerging from the hole. The group recovers in the safety of a motel room. Joel and Henry watch as Ellie and Sam continue reading their comic books and joke about the absurdity of the "Endure and Survive" motto. Joel repeats Ellie's earlier offer to join them in going to Wyoming, and Henry agrees, remarking that it would be good for Sam. He tells Sam to go to sleep, but Ellie wakes him up to read comic books again. Sam stops her and writes on his magic slate, asking if Ellie is scared, claiming she seems fearless to him. Ellie explains she is scared all the time of scorpions, before admitting she is scared of ending up alone. Sam asks if people are still alive inside when they are infected, before lifting up his pant leg to reveal he was bitten. Ellie shows him her own bite and claims her blood is medicine. She makes a cut on her hand and rubs some of her blood on his wound, claiming it will cure him, and agrees to stay awake with him that night. Ellie wakes up in the morning to see Sam sitting up. When she approaches him, however, she discovers he has become infected during the night. Joel and Henry awake to see Sam attacking Ellie. Henry, seeing Joel reach for his gun, grabs it instead and tells him to stay away, but then fires the gun at Sam himself, killing him and saving Ellie. Despite Joel's pleas for Henry to put down the gun, Henry is overcome with the realization that all the effort he went through to protect Sam was for nothing, and turns the gun on himself as Ellie watches in horror. As Joel buries Sam and Henry's bodies outside the motel, Ellie dejectedly gives Joel his things before leaving Sam's magic slate on the grave and heading off in the direction of Wyoming. Joel looks at the slate to see that Ellie left the words, "I'm sorry." He then picks up his items and follows as they leave Kansas City behind. See you in the next video.